بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Before I start, I like to read a hadith about the month of Sha'ban. Alhamdulillah, today we have entered the month of Sha'ban, and it's good to remind ourselves of some of the merits of this month. One of the things that we have is from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is narrated in Biharul Anwar, volume 94. Rasulullah said, Sha'banu Shahri. This month is my month. Because as we have in other hadiths, months of Ramadan is Shahrullah, months of Sha'ban is Shahrul Rasul, is for the Prophet, and month of Rajab is for Rajab is for Ahlul Bayt, or Amirul Mu'minin says is mine. For example, Shahru Ramadan, Shahrullah, wa Sha'ban, Shahru Rasulullah, wa Rajab Shahri. Amirul Mu'minin said this. So, Sha'ban Shahri. Rasulullah said, this is my month. فَمَنْ صَامَ شَهْرِي كُنْتُ لَهُ شَفِيعًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Whoever fasts in this month, it's like a month that Allah has gifted to the Prophet, has a special affinity to the Prophet. Of course, everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in a special sense, months of Ramadan is Shahrullah, and then this month is for Rasulullah. And if you fast in this month out of respect for this month and out of respect for Rasulullah, and also following the example of Rasulullah, because Rasulullah كان يدأب في صيامه وقيامه في لياليه وأيامه بخوعا لك في إكرامه وإعظامه إلى محل حمامه. Rasulullah used to fast and do tahajjud in this month. في لياليه Qiyam. He was standing up for dua, prayer. During the day, Siyam. And this was his dab, his habit. So it's not something that he did it once or twice. This was his habit. Unless, for example, if there was something conflicting, maybe illness or travel. Otherwise, this was his habit. Yad abu fi siyamihi wa qiyamih. في لياليه وإكرامه بخوعا لك في إكرامه. Rasulullah was showing his humbleness before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by honoring this month up to the very last part of this month, when this month is departing. So if we want to follow the example of Rasulullah, so we should respect this month. We ask Allah, inshallah, to give us the ability to fast. If you have qadha fasting, of course, you have to first do qadha. You cannot do mustahab when you have qadha fasting. But this is a good opportunity to do qadha, especially if it is for, Ramadan. You have to do it before Ramadan. So it's good for doing all the qadha as much as possible. And also, if you don't have qadha, mustahab. Also, this is the month for istighfar. in the months of Rajab, the months of Sha'ban for istighfar, so that inshallah, before we get into months of Ramadan, we would receive maghfirah, forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we can enter the feast, the banquet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ziyafatullah, while we are pure and forgiven, inshallah. Okay, we go to our next lesson in the book about Jabr and Ikhtiyar, predestination and free will. This is an issue that many people, maybe at least one point in their life, they have dealt with this. And maybe some people frequently have dealt with this. This is an issue that philosophers, theologians, psychologists, jurists, ethicists, all are concerned. Are we free in our actions, or everything is fixed, predestined? We have just to wait and see what is going to happen. We have no role. Even with respect to your own action, according to those who believe in Jabr, you are just a subject. This action is going to happen and you cannot stop it. So the issue of Jabr and Ikhtiyar is a very important issue, and because we talked about necessity that exists between Illa and Ma'lul, now it is good time to address this issue. Because one of the reasons some people have thought we are predestined is they didn't understand necessity that comes from al-illatul tamma. They thought it makes us, freeless or freedomless, without freedom, majbur, predestined, forced. So this is why we discuss it here. Psychologists also talk about this issue because they want to understand what goes in the mind of people when they do something, and in what stage, for example, something external can get into it, or something forces the agent. Mutakallimin also are concerned about this for different reasons. One reason is, if we are not free, how God is going to judge us and punish us or reward us? What is the point of sending prophets? Fuqaha are concerned about this, and lawyers, because of the issue of responsibility. The agent cannot be held responsible unless he's free. Ulama al-akhlaq are concerned because we have to know whether we are able to change, to improve or not. Can we have virtues that we didn't have by our own efforts or not? So all different types of scholars are concerned. Now, let us see what is the philosophical dimension of this discussion. That is our concern. As you remember, we said, الشيء ما لم يجب لم يوجد. Nothing before becoming necessary comes to existence. الماهية تقررت فأمكنت فاحتاجت فأوجبت فوجبت فأوجدت فوجدت. Okay, I repeat it so that you remember, inshallah. So, this ijab comes from illa, ujibat, means illa brings necessity, fawajabat, then it becomes necessary. Okay, this is what we said before. And we said, whether existence is decided or non-existence, they are necessary. If you have al-illatu tamma, existence becomes necessary. If you don't have al-illatu tamma, non-existence is necessary. Because adamul illat tamma illatun tammatun lil adam. Okay? Adamul illat tamma illatun tammatun lil adam. It means that when you don't have complete cause for existence, this is enough that we necessarily cannot have existence. Okay? There is nothing a matter of probability. Either existence is necessary or non-existence is necessary. And in essence, it's contingent. In essence, none of them is necessary, but بالغير, either wajibun بالغير or mumtani'un بالغير. We said we don't have mumkinun بالغير. You remember? Okay. Now, any order which exists in this world, any system that we have in this world, it's because of this causal relation and because of this necessary relation. Al-illiyya and al-darura, these two, which are two sides of the same coin, bring order to this world. You know why things happen and when they should happen. And if you know them, you can even predict, because everything is necessary. If you deny necessity of ma'lul after having illah, rational is impossible. Yeah? لا يمكن تخلف المعلول عن علته التامة. It's impossible to have illat التامة and not ma'lul. If someone says, no, it's okay, we can have illat التامة, but ma'lul is not necessary, this damages all sciences. There will be no order in the world, no, rule, no prediction, nothing we can do. Why? Because you can have everything and still things may not happen. You can have, for example, fire. One day fire doesn't burn, one day it burns in the same condition. It's chaos. You have water, one day is, for example, flowing, another day is not flowing. You take chemicals, one day work, one day they don't work. This creates chaos. Everything comes necessarily after its complete cause. Denial of necessity of the cause means denial of the cause. Okay, we have already discussed these issues before. So, there must be necessary relation between cause and effect. The question of jabr comes here. When people say, okay, what about human beings? Our actions are ma'lul, yeah? You cannot say our actions are wajibul wujud. Our actions are mumkinul wujud and ma'lul, they are effects. Whatever is al-illatu tamma for our actions, you say gives necessity to action, darura. It means that you must have that action. Then, where is our role? the person who raises this question says, where is our role? If I necessarily have to do this, what is my role? You say no action happens unless it's necessary. So if it is necessary, what is my role? And this issue not only is theoretically important, it is also practically very important. And Ayatollah Mutahhari, according to this book, believes that perhaps rarely you find a theoretical question that has so much practical implication. Because if we don't believe in our freedom, then our situation becomes day by day worse. Yeah? Imagine a student who believes in Jabr. What would happen? Yes. Unfortunately, when someone doesn't believe in freedom and believes in Jabr, doesn't study hard and say, I am forced to study, becomes lazy. That's the problem. If a person, we tell him is majboor, then keeps committing sins. So I am majboor. It's not that, he does all the good things after I am majboor. So people take advantage and say, okay, now it's good to get rid of responsibility. So I do whatever I want, then I put responsibility on God who made me majboor. So this issue is very destructive. Even if you study history, you find sometimes politics also was involved. For example, Bani Umayyah Amavids, they used to favor Jabriyun because this is good. When you have power, you promote Jabr. When you don't have power, you are in opposition. Position, no Jabr. So we have to change. We have to reform. We have to upright. But when you get power, you say everything is decided by God. Don't do anything. You are majbur. So Bani Umayyah used to favor the idea of Jabr. Even that after the incident of Karbala, Ibn Ziyad and also Yazid, they used to say that God killed Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They wanted to say that everything is decided by God. And pardon? Yeah, but that's different. They said God killed him, qatalahullah, because they wanted to say we were not just instruments for God. Yeah, when they say qatalahullah means we are instruments for God. Anyway, this is an issue which is theoretical but has practical implications. First, let us review quickly the ideas and opinions that are in this issue, about this issue. Just browse them quickly and then see what is the idea of Muslim philosophers. We can mention here 6 opinions. First, what the book calls Jabriyun Mutlaq, those who are absolutely determinist. Yeah, they believe in predestination. Absolutely. They say everything is fixed, predestined. Human beings have no free will, no mas'uliyah, no responsibility, no taklif, no obligation. Very clear.
Any names of the philosophers in this category?
You find in many groups, you find in ancient, for example, East this, you find in the West this, many people. Then we have the idea of, even Asha'ira have some kind of, idea of Jabr. Then we have a modern view of materialists who say similar things. They say human actions are predestined, but not necessarily in the sense of God. They're not like Ash'arites who believe necessarily in God. They say everything is fixed, everything is necessary, no mas'uliyah, no responsibility, no free will. Because it's madde, it's a physical world, no intelligence, no choice, no decision. The third opinion is opinion of those people who deny necessary relation between illa and ma'lul. So they say there is no necessary relation. If you remember, I told you once, for example, there are some scientists who believe everything is, somehow not determined. Everything is somehow, not decisive. Like, Heisenberg. You remember I told you about our teacher of physics who was not giving anyone complete mark. Because there is a principle of, uncertainty, and no one can get, complete, mark, because nothing in this world is fixed, and nothing in this world is determined. Nothing is, decisive. There must be always a little doubt and ambiguity. So, for them, there is no necessary relation. Pardon?
The only certainty is uncertain.
Yeah. Then, some mutakallimin and some usuliyun, they have said that yes, between illa and ma'lul there is necessary relation. But they said this is for material beings. For mujarradat, for non-material or immaterial beings like human soul and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, instead of saying that they are cause for their action, you should say they are fa'il. They are doer. Fi'l is different from ma'lul. They thought in this way they can solve the problem by saying that they are not ill, they are agent, they are doer. The other opinion is the opinion of psychologists. Not all psychologists, some psychologists. They believe that human beings are free, but by saying that human will is an exception from causality. They want to solve the problem by saying that causality can have exceptions. But you know that no intellectual rule can have exception. Yeah, al-qawaid al-'illiyya, al-qawaid al-falsafiyya, they cannot have exceptions because these are rational. Contingent being, no matter what it is, that contingent being need Allah. There's no exception for it. But the view of those Muslim philosophers who are very insightful and very, deep in their understanding is different. That is the sixth and the last view. They say this system in the world is zaruri, no doubt about it. And Aliyah is comprehensive, no doubt about it. But at the same time, that Aliyah and Zarura have no exceptions. and are comprehensive, human beings are free. Human beings are free. Actually, they say human beings are free because of the same principle of causality and zarura. You are not doing a service to human beings if you deny zarura. And you are not securing freedom if you deny zarura. Neither freedom needs zarura, nor zarura contradicts freedom. Sorry, neither jabr is required by zarura, nor free will is against zarura. If I said mistakenly something else, I meant this. It means that zarura and free will get together without problem. Jabr is not something that is because of zarura. Okay? So zarura doesn't require jabr. Is it clear? So, we explain 2 points here to deny the idea of jabr. First, denying necessary relation between cause and effect would not imply ikhtiyar. Don't think that you are proving ikhtiyar by denying zarura between illa and ma'lul. If you deny zarura between illa and ma'lul, ikhtiyar is not proved. You are not doing any service. Why? Because if you deny zarura, it means everything happens by chance, by accident. You have to believe in what philosophers call sutfa. Sutfa means accident. Okay? So, then even you cannot have three actions. Because there is no relation between cause and effect. There is no relation between you and your action. Your actions are not your actions. After careful consideration, you realize that your actions are not your action. Because you do everything, then the action can come and cannot come. So if it comes, it means it's not yours. We don't know what happened. Is it clear? When you have something, like yourself, your entire self. We have you, and then the action is there sometimes, the action is not sometimes there, in the same condition. It's just sutfa. There is no zarura. What does it mean? If I am there, and sometimes my action is not there, and sometimes it is there, it means that even if it is there, it's not because of me. Because if it was because of me, it had to be always there. Is it clear? So, by denying zarura, you are making actions, accidental, and this means that indeed these are not my actions.
Is this not sort of stressing the point itself? Because we are on the standpoint of the necessity of cause and effect.
Yeah.
We are looking at the argument from this standpoint.
Yeah, because that's rational. Necessary relation between cause and effect is rational. We just want to correct those misunderstandings that people have, that they think free will needs denial of causality, or free will needs denial of necessity. No.
Yes. Maybe I missed it, but how are we defining necessity in comparison to determinism or judgment?
Yes. So this is what we are going to explain. If it is necessary, then what is our role? We will talk about this. So, those who have wanted to deny general principle of causality, or to deny necessary relation between cause and effect, or those who wanted to say we don't deny them but we say there are exceptions for them, they have all made mistakes, and they have all actually harmed human free will. The next thing is that zarura does not contradict ikhtiyar. So the first was that to deny zarura does not imply ikhtiyar, because you may deny zarura and actually harm ikhtiyar. As I said, it becomes sutfa, it becomes accident. Now we want to say zarura also would not have problem with ikhtiyar. Yes.
When you say zarura, you mean the necessity of relationship.
Yes. As zaruratul illiya. So this part, please listen carefully. We come to your question also. For human action, al-illatu tamma is compound. It's not something simple. It's murakkab. Illatu tamma, al-illatu tamma للأفعال الإنسانية مركبة is compound. What is the mechanism? He says we have instincts, we have desires, we have emotions, we have memories, we have evaluation, assessment, thinking about future, about outcomes, good that may come out of it, bad that may come out of it. We have also power, we have limitations. So many things have to get together so that you do something. And if you want to make it very brief, we say when you think of doing something, you assess it, you evaluate it, base your information based on your desires, then you may think this is good for you. And then after that, you develop yearning, shawq for it. And when this shawq becomes stronger and stronger, it reaches a point that triggers you towards the action. But this triggers you, this is the point, is not forcefully. You may have great shawq for doing something and don't do it. Yeah? Human beings have this ability that when they think of something and they have shawq for it, they make a choice. I want to do it or I don't want to do it. If this irada, which according to some philosophers is al-juz'ul akhir lil-illat at-tammah, the last part of the complete cause. If this irada is there, the complete cause is there, and then after that it becomes necessary. Okay? Yeah. So your problem is that you consider complete cause without irada, and you leave no room for irada. You say it's necessary, it has to happen. We say no. The last part, which is the main part, for having something into existence, even if you have 999,999 parts, everything together, but just one part is missing out of million, one part is missing. That cannot happen. The last part is very important. Sometimes I say one of the problems that we have in our life, especially community life, social life, is we have many, many potentials, and sometimes these potentials become very, very, very close to being final, so that after that you can have result. But little things are missing. Just little. We do 90%, 95%, but the last few percent we don't do it, we don't succeed. It's like a football team that 90 minutes they play very well, but they don't have someone who can, make a goal. In every community, we need people who can, what do you say, score? A score. This is very important. Otherwise, everything we do remains just without final fruits. It's very important, and this is also a matter of wisdom. There are people who know how to use resources and skills and talents that are there in the community to score. And there are people, most of people don't know that. And we have people who know how to score for the enemies. They are also very good in using everything against ourselves. Yes.
How they get the complete score, I don't understand.
Pardon?
How they get the complete score so easily? To score for the enemies.
Yeah.
Their complete score becomes very easy.
Because sometimes the difference is very little. Sometimes the difference between food and poison is very little. Yeah? A little, extra excessive thing can make food poison. We have to be very careful. Yes.
Does it involve in everything? Like people doing the ibadah and everything, but they're not completing it to the level. But the one which they have done, will it not be accepted? Or?
So for everything, its completion is on its own. So maybe my prayer is complete, but a complete prayer is one of the things I need for my success. My prayer is complete, but maybe I don't have charity work. My charity work is complete, but maybe I don't have prayer. Maybe I don't have Salih Rahim. Maybe I'm not good with my family. So each of these have to be complete, but each of these is by itself a part. Like a car. Your engine has to be complete, but with engine only you cannot, drive. Yeah, you need many other things. So what is important is you always make sure that you can use what is available to make a move. This is very important, to score. For example, you have knowledge. Some people learn and learn and learn and learn. Nothing happens. Some people learn a little things and then it's beneficial. They use it, other people use it. Ilm nafi'. Yeah, it's like a team that can score. So it's very important. Anyway, when it comes to human actions, al-juz'ul akhir, which is very important. I was trying to say how that last part is very important. Al-juz'ul akhir huwa al-irada, is the will. When you decide to do it and all other things are there, then it happens, and it has to happen. Otherwise, it would be accident. It has to happen. Even, sometimes people ask, if everything is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so then what is our role? We say, yes, everything is created by Allah, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates our actions after we decide to do them. In other words, He creates free actions in us. It means that part of it is our freedom. Do you understand? Or, for example, some people say, does Allah know what I am going to do? If you say no, then it's a problem. How Allah doesn't know. If you say yes, that's okay. If He knows what I'm going to do, then I have to do it. So I am forced to do it. We say He knows what you are going to do freely. He knows what you are going to decide to do. Okay? So, causality is there, creation of Allah is there, but your free will is also there. Is it clear? So, necessary relation between cause and effect would not conflict with free will. There is no contradiction here. So, if you decide to do after all the conditions are met, there is no obstacle, conditions are there, everything you decide, you do it. If you don't decide or there is obstacle, conditions are not there, it's not going to happen. So either it has to happen or it has not to happen, although the action in itself is mumkin. Yeah, our actions are mumkinul wujud بالذات. They are contingent, but بالغير, either they become necessary or impossible. If everything that we need is there, and we want, we desire, we will, they happen, and they must happen. If illa is not there, they don't happen necessarily. So actions in themselves are mumkin bizat, but because of illa they become mumtana or wajib bil ghayr. Okay, this is about jabr and ikhtiyar. Do you have questions? Okay.
What is it that causes you to decide to do it or not? Because if we said it is show, yet even after all the stages of analysis and thinking and look at the information and the imagination and the power and the limits and everything, we reach the level of show. Yet even after all this,
You may decide, it's you.
So what is it that made you decide to do it or not?
It's up to you.
What does that mean philosophically? Because if it is related to show, then if you have maximum show, you can still decide not to do it.
Yeah.
So it raises the same question.
So in the end of the day, you choose which of those things for which you have shauq, you would do it. You would not do anything that you absolutely have no shauq. So my idea is this, in my thesis I have mentioned this, that we would not make choice unless we have desires for both, or if it is more than two parties, for all parties. There must be shauq. But you can have shauq for a study and learning, you can have shauq for playing. It's up to you to choose which one you want. And two people in the same condition, they can make different choices. This shows that we are free. And your choice is something that is free by essence. Can will be not will? Will is will. Will is free by definition or by by essence, by default. So the whole thing goes back to here, that under the same condition and circumstances, we can make different choices or different will.
So there's nothing that can force will, it's only encouragement.
No. Yeah, they can make you inclined or encourage you or discourage you or make it easy or difficult for you to choose, but at the end you have to choose. Unlike when, for example, they physically force you. For example, they take your hand and pen and, they sign with your hand. That's different. Our actions are not like this. We do it. Even if they, for example, say, if you don't do it, we will, for example, kill you, still you decide to do. You can say, no, kill me. I don't want to sign this. You have question?
I was trying to understand it in one sentence. The illatul tam gives the necessity of the action.
Yes.
Yeah? And jabr comes in when there is free will. Without free will, it's determined by the free will. The action itself is determined by the free will.
Yeah.
Is this a correct way to phrase it?
No. Indeed, they who believes in Jabr, they say there is no free will. Either Jabr or free will. Those who are Jabri, they say there is no free will. Yes.
So even though the actions are, you follow all these steps properly and everything, and at the end when you decide, it can be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, right and wrong is another thing. You may make good decision, you may make bad decision. Yes.
Sometimes
I think-
without free will, if people take alcohol, their frontal brain is depressed, and then they can do wrong things.
Yeah.
And that can interfere with the free will as well.
Yeah.
And that can
We
make-
say al-imtina. This is a good question. Al-imtina'u bil-ikhtiyar la yunafil ikhtiyar. What does it mean? If you freely choose to do something that then would make you unconscious, for example, still you are responsible. Although when you are unconscious, you are not responsible directly. But who made you unconscious? Yes. So morally and legally you are responsible. Although at that point, philosophically, you are not responsible because you don't have power, but because of what you have done in the past. So, it is said that once a person who had studied a little usul, maybe I told you, was very much annoyed by a cat. Did I tell you? Yeah. So this person was very much annoyed by a cat and said to this cat, if you keep annoying me, I'm going to make you halal and eat you. And the cat, didn't understand what he said anyway, so kept annoying him. So he said, I'm now going to make him eat it halal and eat. So put it in a bag and went to desert. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then he's starving, dying. The only thing is this cat. So now it's halal. Yes. So we say this is when you don't study properly. Al-imtina'u bil-ikhtiyar la yunafil ikhtiyar. You cannot put yourself in a situation that then you don't have any choice except haram.
Sheikh, you must have thought that it would be more annoying to go into the deep into this desert and be hungry.
Pardon?
You must have thought that it would be more annoying for him to go deep into the desert and be.
Sometimes when you get angry, you don't make wise decisions. You just make a decision and you want to keep yeah. This is the problem with anger, You just want to prove yourself. Yes.
Sheikh, you mentioned that we will do actions if we have shop for it. And
Yes.
if we have zero shop, then we're not going to do that action.
Yes.
Is it correct that the shop can only develop from learning or the intellect, and then afterwards it can develop into maybe a feeling of the heart or motivation? Does it have to come from the mind? Like you said last time that you can't love God if you don't know Him. So there has to be an element of learning that triggers everything else.
There must be some understanding. But that understanding doesn't need to be very complicated. For example, if someone says, would you like to have ice cream? You should know what is ice cream. Yeah, but you don't need to be an expert. But if you don't know totally what is ice cream, maybe you think it's a disaster, it's a kind of illness, so you will not have shock. So there must be some, we say tasawwur, at least you must have an idea about it. But of course, the more you know, the better you can decide. But there must be some kind of tasawwur, some kind of understanding.
Would you say this is the same with
You cannot desire the unknown. Something which is completely unknown, you cannot desire.
do you think philosophers and ulafa they would also say that the more you know, the more you can have shawq for something?
Yes? If it is a good thing. If something is good, then the more you know it, the more you have shawq. Worldly things, normally we have more shawq when we don't know them. Yes? Because our imagination is greater than what they are. In dunya, normally we have greater imagination than what they are. But if there is something, a spiritual, something, really good, yes, then when you know them more, you love them more.
In terms of God, can we not say everybody has a certain level of shawq from the way that they were created and the fitra?
Yes. But that show can become sometimes passive, inactive. Like a person who is hungry, but now is too busy and cannot think about hunger. Yeah? For example, you are very hungry, but you want to go home and you see your car is not there. You realize your car is stolen. You look everywhere. Then you forget your hunger. Where is my car? Or, na'uzubillah, if you lose your child, you go to a busy road and you lose your child, then you forget your hunger. Yeah? So sometimes people, although they have fitri yearning for God, they are too much busy with other things that doesn't become active. Yes.
Related to the good questions of the brothers, we have the narration about iqbal and idbar, that sometimes your heart leans towards worship. You just love to worship, you just want that free time to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hold back, you don't have that desire. And not necessarily caused by a particular event or becoming too busy. It's just the same person. One day he's very in love with worship, and the next day he's just not feeling it. So what causes this difference where we don't see an actual factor involved?
We don't sense it, but definitely there is a reason for that. That reason can be in your control, can be also out of your control. But it's not that there is no reason. What is important is we have to know that the conditions of heart are very changeable. And these are not necessarily because of a substantial change in you. Maybe you are the same person, but now today you have better feeling. Don't think the day that you have better feeling, you are necessarily a better person. And also when you have a worse feeling, don't think that you are the worst person. Maybe, maybe not. Because heart is very changeable. Heart is they call it qalb because it transforms. What is important is you should not be a person who just follows his or her emotions and moods. They say moody, a person who is just changing, yeah? Yeah, so don't force yourself. So a day that you are not in a very good mood for ibadah, don't force yourself too much. Because if you keep forcing yourself, then your nafs may start hating. But on the other hand, don't totally stop because, today I don't feel good, I don't pray. You have to have control. You have to tame yourself. But also you have to be showing rifq, moderation. Otherwise, either you kill nafs, or your nafs will rebel and goes out of control, becomes wild. There are people who put too much pressure on themselves, and then after some years they totally become, faceless, because they have put too much pressure on themselves. So you have to be aware of the changes of conditions, but at the same time, wisely plan. Because if you, according to one of ulama said something nice, if you just wait for your heart to become ready for dua, it may never become ready. You have to tame it also, but with moderation, with kind of care. Yes. I want also to do a little bit more. Yes.
Just on this point, what do you suggest things that cause the heart to develop these?
Many things.
What are the most influential?
Sometimes we do sins. We don't notice, but we have committed. Sometimes you have broken someone's heart. You said something, maybe even it was not haram, but one person is not happy. They can affect you. Sometimes there are people with negative energy around. They can affect you. Okay?
The other way to improve.
So to improve, your good actions are very important. Good intention and thought. Always try to think about good things. Pardon? Husnadhan, and also have good intention and good, thoughts. I want to bring good to this world. I want to do good to this person, to that person. Good thing. Helping other people, if you can make someone happy. Many times, as soon as you make someone's heart happy, happiness also comes to your heart. One of ulama was saying in a private meeting, he said, once I was going to Salat of one of ulama that who passed away. He said, we saw a poor person, and I think we purchased, a sock for him, something like this. And he said, after we went to the masjid, I had very, very good feeling. Very special. I realized it was because we made that poor person happy. If you, with your limited power, make a servant of Allah happy, can't Allah make you happy? Yeah? If you make your children happy, if you make, your parents happy. So, anything good and positive can help. But also, positive thinking is very important. Unfortunately, many times we ourselves make ourselves, sad. We cause sadness. We become a machine that produces sadness. And finally, you become depressed. Think positively. There are problems in the world, but we don't need to think too much about problems. Think about solutions. Think about positive things. Think about good people. Yeah? When you go to a place or you work in a place that there are bad people, don't think too much about them. Think about good people, good opportunities. So, it's to a large extent to us to train ourselves to be feeling good. Of course, you may do all these things and still, some days you are feeling better, but you can to some extent tame yourself and train yourself.
Which component of our being is working on our nafs? So
What do you mean?
taming, and you said we have to exercise this positive
With your apple.
with your intellect.
Yes. So your aql can work on your nafs, or otherwise your nafs works on your aql. Either aql is ghalib or is maghloob. Like for example, pardon? Yes. For example, like sometimes there are ill people. Just as an example, there are ill people, and we know this food or this, for example, medicine is good for them. He says, please have this food. He says, I don't feel, eating. So, you have to eat. I don't feel. Okay, this is emotion. Whether you feel eating or not, you must eat. Okay? And then, inshallah, if you take this medicine, your feeling improves. But if you don't eat that food or medicine because you don't feel eating, then the next time you become worse. Yeah? It can get worse and worse and worse. So, this is why when you know by aql that your emotions are not giving you good direction, don't follow your emotions. Just go by aql. And then your emotions will be disciplined, and they know that now they have to help you in your ugly journey. Okay? Your emotion, for example, you know that you have to do mubahasa, but emotions say no. Let's just have a chat. Not mubahasa. Just we can have chat. Half an hour we chat in reception, but no mubahasa. Okay. If you force yourself to do mubahasa and think about benefits of mubahasa and think, Sheikh Shomali kept telling us, inshallah, gradually you start loving mubahasa. Little by little. And after you see the benefits, do it for some time, and then when you see the beauty of it, then you just want to do mubahasa. Because your emotions are not fixed. This is one of the special things about human beings. We are not fixed. We are not robots. We are not machines. We are not sand and rock and metal. Maybe 90% of the things can be changed if you want. How much to sleep, how much to eat, how much to, speak, how much to, for example, socialize. You can train yourself and then feel very happy. But a rational person trains himself based on aql, based on guidance. Otherwise, everyone is training himself for a good reason or bad reason, good direction, bad direction. Because we are not fixed. Very easily, a very intelligent person can become mad. It's not difficult. If someone cooperates, in 1 week we can make him mad. If he's careless, in 1 week you can make a person mad. Because we are not, like an engine, which is metal. Your ideas, your thoughts, your planning, your calculations, to be optimist, to be pessimist, all can change. And if you are not careful, you can be very, very self-destructive. This is why tarbiyah is very important. This is why akhlaq is very important. Okay, let's have a little bit of the next lesson, because I want to divide the next lesson, because there are many new terminology. So I want to divide next lesson.
Part 7.
Yes, now we are entering 8th section, yeah? It's about taqaddum wa ta'akhur.
Is it accident and essence and accident?
No. Yeah. It's about order, being before or after. It's in Farsi original book is 8th section. What is yours?
We just finished the 6th, so we're entering into the 7th.
What is 7th?
It's just essence and excellence.
And what is the next one?
After this lesson,
After this section? Types of essence?
types of essence, but section may be different.
So you don't have taqaddum and ta'akhur? Yes.
Yeah, part 8 is changed.
This is where you finished.
Okay, thank you. Okay, categories is 9. So, one section is missing. Yeah, there is no taqaddum and ta'akhur.
We have part 9 is divine essence.
Yeah. Pardon? Which one?
No, I think we can take it.
No,
even
no.
if we don't have it in the book.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The book is not part of
So,
the
so you have to take notes, and inshallah also transcripts become available. So this shows why we need teacher. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So section 8 is about taqaddum and thank you. Taqaddum and ta'akhur. Taqaddum means precedence, something coming before, and ta'akhur means coming after. Okay? Taqaddum, ta'akhur. Have you heard mutaqaddam, mutaakhir? Okay. Taqaddum, ta'akhur. Ta'akhur means coming after. Taqaddum means coming before. Okay? For example, we have two people. For example, your grandfather and your father. Which one comes first? Your grandfather. So he's mutaqaddam, he's earlier. Your father is mutaakhir, comes later. Okay? So, one of the discussions in philosophy is about what they call taqaddum wa ta'akhur or sabq wa luhuq. Sabq means to precede, luhuq means to join, to come after. The reason they talk about this is because there are many relations between different beings. And this discussion helps us to understand relations between different beings. For example, time. Time is one of those things that its parts have taqaddum and ta'akhur. Yeah? No part of time comes except after another time and before next period of time. Today comes after yesterday and before tomorrow. Yeah? Time is like this. Or those things which have time. So today, tomorrow, yesterday is time. But the things which come with timing, like your grandfather, your father, your child, your grandchildren, these are not times, but these are things that happen in times. Okay? They have also taqaddum and ta'akhur. So, we want to understand few things. We want to understand other than the time and those things that have time. What are other types of precedence? Can we find this type of relation of being before and after in things other than time and those things which have timing? Also, we want to see what does this mean to be before or after. And also, what are the different types of being before and after? And what is the difference between these different types? And what is the criterion for being before or after? So, we want to have a little, not completely, but a little comprehensive discussion about taqaddum and ta'akhur. There are 9 types of taqaddum and ta'akhur that philosophers have mentioned. How many types? 9 types. 2 types we don't discuss as discount. Okay. So he says we only discuss 7 types. But don't, bargain. 7 is the minimum. So you have to learn 7 types. But I make it half. So you don't need to understand all of it now. So part of it I say today, part of it, inshallah, next session.
But at least can we have the names?
Yes, the names. First, let me give you the list. At-taqaddum az-zamani. Being before in time. Like temporal precedence. At-taqaddum ar-rutbi. In order. Rutbi. Rutbi means order. So it means precedence in order. The third is at-taqaddumu bi-sharaf. Precedence in honor and value. The fourth is at-taqaddumu bi-tab' by nature. Bi-tab' like tabi'ah, Hassan, by nature. Tab', not taba'. Tab' like tabi'ah with ta'. Yeah? By nature. The next is taqaddum bitajawhur. Tajawhur, jawhar, substance, means precedence by substantiation. By substantiation, yeah. Something like that. Yeah? Tajawhur means becoming substance. Yeah. Taqaddum bil haqiqah. Precedence in reality. So, these 7, inshallah, we will discuss. 7. Zamani, Rutbi, Bisharaf, Bitab', Bil-Illiyah. Bil-Illiyah, you didn't say? Okay, I say now. At-taqaddumu bil-Illiyah. Precedence in causality. Illiyah, causality. Taqaddum bil-Illiyah. Yes, no problem. Zamani, Rutbi, Bisharaf, Bitab', Bil-Illiyah, Bil-Tajawhur, Bil-Haqiqah. These 7. There are 2 more. Dahri. Dahri. Dahr is different from Zaman. Dahr is like time for those things which have no time. For mujarradat. This is the concept that, Mir Damat had the idea of taqaddum dahri.
So we can say zamana mujarrad.
It's like, yes, like time for mujarradat. And the last one, taqaddum bil haq. Not bil haqiqah, bil haq. Taqaddum al-dahri and taqaddum bil haq they are not discussed in the book. Okay? They are discussed in, Nihayatul Hikmah by Allama Tabatabai. But the first 7, you have to know. Truthfully, or, by truth, something like this.
Is the Akhbar actually just the opposite of these ones?
Pardon?
The Akhbar?
He's talking about
the whole 9 types of taqaddum, right?
Yeah.
The Akhbar is the same.
Yeah. Always, these are coming together. When there is taqaddum, there is ta'akhur, because you have to have 2 sides. Okay.
Shomali and Rusli and all like this.
Yes. Okay, I have to leave today earlier because they're waiting for me outside. Just I mentioned 2 of them, and the rest, inshallah, for next. Okay. First, temporal precedence. At-taqaddumu zamani. This is very easy. A time before another period of time, or something that happened in the time before another thing. For example, we say that my grandfather precedes my father. In what? In time. Or first century of Islam precedes, for example, 5th century. Yeah? Or Al-Khulafa al-Rashidun, for example, precede, for example, Ban al-Abbas. So this is in time. This is very clear. At-taqaddumu rutbi, in order. Okay? This is when 2 things have something in common, but in that thing which is common, they have also difference. One of them is closer or has more of what is in common. For example, pardon?
Ulama, like 2 volumes, one is in the same, one is above in Rutbah.
Yeah, you can say it like that. Or for example, a very obvious example in the book is, you go to masjid, there is mihrab, the place of prayer for imam. You see there is imam and there is ma'mum, someone who is following imam. Who is closer to mihrab? Imam. So although both of them are close to mihrab, but imam is closer. We say imam has taqaddum bil rutbah. But this doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse. It can be, for example, with respect to another thing different. For example, imagine the door of the mosque is facing mihrab, so the door is behind. Then we say ma'mum has taqaddum bil rutbah with respect to the door. Yeah? So it's a matter of finding something common between 2 things and then measuring the relation with that thing which is common. One of them has more relation or closer relation, so he has precedence. It's easy. So these 2 for today. Inshallah we continue, inshallah, next week. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.